Radio Max, Takrady, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, Audit Service Board Chairman alleges Auditor General Daniel Domilevo was offered keys to his office but refused to take them.
It explained to him that the board asked him to secure the place and that the keys are with cashier. He was very furious that we have locked the place and given the keys to the cashier, so he wasn't going for it.
We have details plus hear from civil society, the NPP and the NDC. Also, 5 people arrested in connection with gruesome murder of 90-year-old woman charged with conspiracy to commit crime. Also in this bulletin, NDC flag bearer's running mate, Professor Nana Jenopoko Ajiman, defends her decision to join scores of senior NDC members who signed a petition for Mintiatro to be pardoned.
We did not interfere with the court process. You mean that when someone sins or commits a wrong and the person runs to you, a mother, to intervene and beg, would you push the person into the fire?
We'll bring you more of that. And the frontline workers sacrificing to save lives and only connecting with family via WhatsApp.
Hello. Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, ma'am.
I've missed you.
Yes, I miss you too.
And later in sport, we'll hear from Rahim Ayu as he hails his younger brother Jordan Ayu for a stellar season at Crystal Palace.
Hans Mensahan Ando has all those details. And later, King of Dancehall Shatta Wale raves on Twitter as fans count down to his musical video with global superstar Beyonce, set to be released tomorrow. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Araba Koomson. Now, the Audit Service Board Chairman, Professor Edward Dua Ajiman, is alleging that the Auditor General, Daniel Domilevo, refused to take the new keys to his office despite being informed that the locks had changed. Professor Dua Ajiman says Mr. Domilevo rather opted to film and share his inability to access the office with his old keys. The Auditor General, who is on a 126-day leave, could not access his office this week after the locks had been changed. Professor Dua-Ajiman, who is the board chairman, says the locks were only changed to secure the office. He spoke to my colleague, Joseph Akablay.
The acting Auditor General informed me that Mr. Domilevo came to the office, went straight to his office and couldn't get in. So he came back to inform him that he has not been given access to the place. It explained to him that the board asked him to secure the place and that the keys are with the cashier, so he could go for it. My information from the acting Auditor General is that he said he was very furious that we have locked the place and given the keys to the cashier, so he wasn't going for it.
But Prof, you have occupied that office before. If you go on leave, must the locks in your office be changed?
But if I go on leave and there is a problem about the office, the locks, the board has every right to make sure that the place is secured.
What is the problem about the locks?
The problem about the locks was that Mr. Domilevo came there a day after he has left and went there, collected letterhead and also without telling the acting Auditor General that he was there. So,
but that is his office. He's just on leave.
Yes, but somebody is acting for him. Don't you see this? That somebody is there acting for him, and therefore, if anytime he wanted to come there, the courtesy would be that, okay, I'm here to take A, B, C, D, but you don't just go there, take anything that you like, and go back without even asking. Now the acting Auditor General is acting for and on behalf of the board and also the service.
Am I to understand that he's now working from the office of Mr. Daniel Domilevo?
Who?
The acting Auditor General, is he working from Mr. Domilevo's office?
He's in his own office.
Yes, so why does he want to prevent the man who...
He never... Don't use the word prevent.
So in the sense that the laws have been changed.
The laws have been changed on the instructions of the board, and I've explained to you why the laws were changed so that the place will be secured. Mr. Domilevo still has the access to the place. He doesn't have to go to the radio stations anytime there is a small problem. Radio stations are not meant for such...
So, Prof, tomorrow if he shows up in the office...
He can go to the office today if he wants to go there. It's a matter of courtesy. Tell Mr. that look, I'm coming to my office, where are the keys? Then he will be able to go there. Okay, he cannot just go there at night or day, any other day or any other time, without. But otherwise, he wouldn't know even where the keys are. Because as Auditor General, we don't keep keys. I never kept my keys in the office keys. The keys are kept by our secretaries or whoever cleans the place. We are fed up with any time going to the radio stations. Any small thing, you go to the radio station.
So if you go to your office and your keys have been changed without you being informed, was he informed the keys were going to be changed?
Well, he was on leave. So when he came, he should have gone to see...
Was he at least informed the keys were going to change?
Listen, when he came, he would have gone to see the acting and he would inform him. Who should inform him? It's the acting.
So that's Audit Service Board Chairman Professor Edward Dua Ajiman speaking to my colleague Joseph Akablay there. Now speaking on the Super Morning Show earlier today, MPP Director of Communications Yaboabenga Samwa accused Mr. Domilevo of personalizing the office.
Mr. Domilevo is not going to be Auditor General forever. His behavior now is creating the impression that he is the only one who can be Auditor General. That's my worry. He's personalizing that office. And he's personalizing it in a way that creates the impression that it's all about him. That is my worry. If there is anything in Crow that points to corruption on anybody's part, that points to deliberate, mischievous misallocation of government money into personal pockets, it will come out. So there is nothing anybody can hide about Crow. Right. So why is Mr. Domilevo riding Crow to create the impression that he is the greatest anti-corruption fighter Ghana never had and will never have?
Spokesperson for the NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama, Joyce Bar Mokgari, who was also on the show, insisted government wants Mr. Domilevo out.
When institutions of government are being weakened, when institutions of government are being threatened, when institutions of government, and you know, we have a situation where our opponents now in government actually campaigned on being the purveyors of the rule of law. They actually campaigned on the grounds of coming to secure and strengthen our institutions of governance. When you watch the conversation that has come up since this Auditor General assumed office, leverage to the Auditor General, why is he not allowed to independently undertake his duties and responsibilities as he prefers? Yes, let's call a spade a spade. That government wants him out. That his activities regarding matters that affect government's whole outlook on corruption is in question. That he is actually, look, when Domilevo took the former government on, the former administration on.
Well, this is what joint news sources at the Auditor General's office said happened.
When he was unable to enter his office, he actually did go to speak to the deputy, and that it was the deputy who explained to him the reason why the locks have been changed, stating that it was to secure.
Yes, and did the deputy then deny him access?
What our sources tell us is that at that point, having been told that it is to secure the office, Mr. Domilevo then decided not to enter so that he will not be accused of having tampered with whatever is being secured. And then he
Super Morning Show, Kojo Yankson providing those details of what happened at the Auditor General's office. This is your election headquarters, and the running mate of NDC flag bearer, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has been defending her decision to join scores of senior NDC members who signed a petition for the Muntie trio to be pardoned. In 2016, the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast joined others asking then-President John Mahama to pardon the three. But Professor Opoku-Agyeman has come under criticism for her decision since she was named running mate. She's been speaking on Cape Coast-based Live FM, and she justified her action.
The long and short of everything is that did people take their time to listen to what the people were alleged to have done? Did they hear any rape in what they said? What was their charge in court? Did it include rape? What was the sentence? In all this, no one went to court to discharge them. the court was allowed to do its work. Those of us who took time to listen to what they said, we prevailed on them to go and apologize, and they went to apologize. They continued apologizing until their sentences were handed down.
Okay.
We did not interfere with the court process. If you look at the judicial processes, there's something called clemency. Do you mean that when someone sins or commits a wrong and the person runs to you, a mother, to intervene and beg, would you push the person into the fire? Or when you beg, does it mean that you support what he did? When you have a child and a child goes out and throws stones that breaks the glass of someone's car, I know as a parent, you might have raised your child very well, but it is not always the case that they will stick to what you tell them. You might tell them, don't go to this place or don't do that, but they will go against it. Your child has gone against your words. He's done something wrong. Do you mean that the talks and all you will do to him will be in the public domain? No one heard what we told the three men in private. We said it's all right. Let the law take its course. And the law took its course. They went to jail, and we said to ourselves, we have to go and beg. Our Ghanaians telling us they've not heard this before. The former president could have intervened, but he didn't.
And you had the running mate of NDC flag bearer, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, speaking on Cape Coast-based Live FM as she justified her action or her decision to join scores of senior NDC members who signed a petition for the Muntie trio to be pardoned. Still on politics, let's listen to this sound.
Police.
They boast of police. We are in power, and you want to intimidate us with police. Let everybody come out with their police. We are in power. We also have our police.
So that's the sound of a man who was at the center of disturbances at Abuabo number 1 last Monday. Well, residents of Abuabo have described the man who pulled a pistol at a registration center there as one of the thugs who have been harassing residents in the area. One of them, who spoke with Love News, says he's personally been warned by the guy to stop his normal education program he runs on radio or faces wrath.
This guy called Yushau Yakubu, I know him to be former director of operations Delta Force in Ashanti region. Now he claims he works at the presidency, he's a national security officer. The little thing he pull out gun, threatening people. And myself, he has threatened me before. I am an activist, educating my Zongo people on their right. He told me if I never stopped educating our people, my people, the Zongo people on their right to desist from violence, to shun violence, whatever happened to me, I invited it upon myself. He added he would deal with me because power belongs to him. And I don't know who gave these people guns, especially this guy. The little thing he just pulled gun, threatening to shoot, terrorizing people, left, right, whosoever gave him this gun.
Meanwhile, security analyst and Professor Kwesi Enning of the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center has cited both parties in the incident for blame. We'll bring you more of that in our subsequent bulletins. Away from politics, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has handed out 100 buses to senior high schools in the country. But one of the highlights of the event at the forecourt of Parliament House was a statement by Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh comparing the achievements of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah with those of President Akufo-Addo.
And irrespective of people's circumstance, our government was poised to only do one thing, to give a hand up and a level playing field to all Ghanaian children. This nation has witnessed the free senior high school project, Mr. Vice President. I do recall the 47 adverts that were made to undermine the free senior high school program in 2012. I do recall a famous statement that if free SHS was doable, Nkrumah would have done it. Can I also then say, since His Excellency Nana Dr. Akufo-Addo has delivered the free SHS, his government probably is better than Nkrumah's government.
The Vice President said the presentation of the buses was to enhance academic work at the various senior high schools.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered here in fulfillment of that promise to distribute the 100 buses because we have a president who is fully committed to education of our children and who believes in keeping his word. The 100 schools that have been selected for today's presentation are drawn from the Ahafo, Oti, Bono East, Northeast, Northern, Savannah, Upper East, and Upper West regions.
Now let's head to the courts now because there's drama at the Supreme Court as renowned lawyer Chachuchi Kata refused to argue the NDC's review of the voters register case. He said he had just received documents filed by the Electoral Commission and was unable to argue the case. The Supreme Court has ruled that the AC can compile a new register as it excluded the use of birth certificates and existing voters cards as proof of identification. Now the NDC was seeking to set this aside but failed. Court correspondent Joseph Akable joins us on the line with more. Joseph, we know a review means an expanded panel. Tell us about the judges who had the original case and those who have joined.
And so the original case was heard by the Chief Justice Kiseni Yeboah and Justices Jones Doche for Bafoboni, Sulik Badegbe, Samuel Mafosao, Nene Amegata, and Professor Ashikote. The two individuals who have joined this particular panel for the review are Justices Yawapo and Mariama Ousu.
And there are also changes to the legal team as well?
The NDC was previously represented by Eduji Tamaklo. Today, when the case was called, renowned lawyer Chachuchi Kata was the one leading the NDC's legal team together with Dr. Dominic Ayene, who was also not a party in terms of the legal.
Hello, Joseph.
Yes, Araba. So initially, the NDC's legal team was Eduji Tamaklo. But this time around, when the case was called, the NDC's legal team was represented by Chachuchi Kata and Dr. Dominic Ayene, who was from the Attorney General.
The Supreme Court did the unthinkable today. They actually dismissed an application that was not moved. Indeed, what the issue was that we were served, the NDC was served with an affidavit in opposition 45 minutes before the start of the hearing. And so our lead counsel, Chachuchi Kata, indicated that the affidavit from the EC was just served him right in court, and he needed time to peruse through it and would want to take a date, a short adjournment, for him to be able to assist the court by looking through the affidavit in opposition. The court will not hear any of this. Even the lower courts, if you are on your feet.
So that's a member of the NDC's legal team, Abraham Amaleba. But let's come to the meat of the matter. Joseph, you reported that Mr. Chachuchi Kata refused to argue the case. Explain to us why he did so.
And so once the case was called, he had made a point that just this morning when he came into the courtroom, he had been given documents by the Electoral Commission that he wants time to study and respond to those documents. So he asked the court to adjourn the case. The court went on a recess, returned from the recess and responded that they cannot grant the adjournment as he had requested that the court hears the case earlier than usual. And so once the court has granted that, he should go ahead and argue the case. It was at that point that Mr. Chikata stood up and said that he's unable to comply with the court's order because he still needs time to argue the case and he's not going to go ahead to argue the case. At that point, the Deputy Attorney General, Godfrey Debatani, responded that Mr. Chikata was running away from his own case which they have brought to court, asking the court to hear it, and the court has decided to hear it. So Mr. Dame then urged the court to therefore dismiss the case if they are not going to argue the case. And today is the last day in terms of the legal days. And so after today, the court will be going on races. And so if you have the intention of arguing the case and you're not going to comply with arguing, then the case should be dismissed. And so the court proceeded and have granted the request and dismissed the case, saying that it had studied the documents that have been filed by all parties in the case and came to the conclusion that the case for the review has not been made as it is without merit. And so it dismissed the NDC's case, asking the Supreme Court to take a second look at its decision that the EC can compile a new register and that the existing voters card and birth certificate should not be used as proof of identification.
All right, many thanks for that update. Joseph Akable is our court correspondent. Now, about 6,500 workers in the hotel industry have been laid off since the outbreak of COVID-19 in Ghana 5 months ago. That's according to the Ghana Employers Association. CEO of the outfit, Alex Frimpong, joined 5 other dignitaries, including the Deputy Minister of Employment, Bright Wereko-Brobe, and Deputy Chairperson of the National Labour Commission, Rose Kakari Anang, at the Jobs and Salaries Roundtable organized by Joy Business today. He offered some details on the impact of COVID-19 on the hospitality industry.
Employees, unfortunately, are going to equally suffer because if the business is not there, an employer would want to make sure that employees are paid full pay, half pay, and also promise that when the situation gets better, they will be recalled. But for how long can employers continue to pay salaries when they do not have insight when businesses can rebound? And these are some of the major.
Are you able to share with us any data from your side in terms of how many people your employers have been able to lay off?
Well, as at the last count, in our discussions with the hotel industry, I think about 6,500 employees had already been laid off. That was only a fraction of what had been done. So I'm sure by now the figures may be a bit higher.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Employment Bright Wereko-Brobe, who was at the same event, said a study was currently in progress to equip government with scientific data on job losses within the period and its impact on the economy.
There's no doubt that this has very devastating effects on employment, and as a country, we are so worried that this is
Are you able to share with us any figures? Have you done any work since March 12th when we made our first announcement?
Well, we are doing a detailed study. We have commissioned a detailed study which the finance minister talked about when he presented the media budget. We are expecting the results in the next week or two, because this is something the entire country is looking up to. So we need to do a scientific study and see that.
So you have the Deputy Minister of Employment, Bright Wereko-Brobe, there. Now, the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association is expected to reopen about 100 Nigerian shops they locked up on Tuesday evening after accusing their co-traders of illegally operating in the retail market. Co-chairman of the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association, Siao Ampedu, says they will ensure the law regulating foreigners in the retail market works. The Ghanaian spare part dealers had vowed to keep the shops locked, but changed that decision after meeting the Trades and Industry Minister.
The minister wants this matter to settle once and for all. We have a presidential task force in which they have to operate, and we have other agencies that are supposed to cooperate with that presidential task force. Immediately, the minister has ordered the task force to come around and make sure that things are done in a very good manner.
And still on cars, the minority in Parliament is asking government to pull brakes on plans to implement the Customs Amendment Bill banning the importation of salvage accident vehicles and second-hand cars which are more than 10 years old. The bill, which was passed in March, seeks to provide incentives for vehicle manufacturers with plants in Ghana under the Ghana Automotive Manufacturing Development Program. Implementation is expected to begin in November, but ranking member on Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee, Kwame Abuja, says the law is not in the interest of the country.
What it means is that, for instance, a V8 will be free if imported by a manufacturer. It will attract no taxes. But if an indigenous dealer imports the same vehicle, it will be more expensive. You will notice the focus is not that the importer or the manufacturer is bringing it in to, or is coming to manufacture it here, because that section talks about the fact that that manufacturer would bring a fully built unit into the country and sell it cheaper. But if you are a Ghanaian and you do the same thing, you pay 35% tax on the same vehicle. We think this is very, very obnoxious.
But Communications Minister Ursula Owusu-Ekufo has been defending the law. She says it will help provide local jobs for Ghanaians.
Now, are we saying we don't want foreign direct investment in the automotive sector in this country? Is that what we're saying? Are we saying that we don't want the local assembly of vehicles, which will end up being cheaper than the imported vehicles that we bring in for our use? I'd like to ask my good friends what car they use. Since they are so against the Toyotas and the VWs, are they using Kantanka? All of them are using Toyota Land Cruisers. And yet today they are telling us that imported vehicles are bad.
Let's head straight to Parliament, and parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gapo joins us on the line with the latest on the floor. Joseph, we understand that the Finance Minister is expected there shortly. What can you report?
So he will be appearing before the Finance Committee of Parliament as he comes in to defend his request that has come to the House that the Fiscal Stability Act be suspended so that government can spend more than 5% in terms of budget deficit in reference to the gross domestic product of the country. So that meeting is at 2, and we gather will be a very public one during which the various members will be asking him questions, and he will defend why, for example, the minority shouldn't go ahead with their push to get him censured and removed from office as Finance Minister.
Many thanks. Joseph Opoku-Gapo is our parliamentary correspondent. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story: Audit Service Board Chairman alleges Auditor General Daniel Domilevo was offered keys to his office but refused to take them. Still ahead, the frontline workers sacrificing all to save lives and only connecting with family via WhatsApp.
Hello.
Yes, ma.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, ma.
I've missed you.
Yes, I miss you too.
We'll bring you the story of Naki Dowuna, and later King of Dancehall Shatawale reigns on Twitter as fans count down to his musical video with global superstar Beyonce set to be released tomorrow. You're welcome back to the Midday News. Time for sports now, and Hans Spencer Ando has details.
Now, Rahim Ayu has hailed younger brother Jordan Ayu on a stellar season with Crystal Palace, which has seen him voted Player of the Season, Players Player of the Season, and also won the award for the Goal of the Season. Rahim detailed the early struggles of his younger brother, but says he's not surprised by his current form.
I remember last season, whenever I go to London, he wasn't playing that much. Whenever I go to London, you can see he's happy to see me, but I go to his games, he's on the bench. He wasn't happy about it. But one thing I kept on telling him was to, keep his head up, and that was what exactly he did. He's really happy, and he has really, really worked hard this season to achieve what he has. I'm not surprised because Jordan, he's very talented. He's very, very talented. So I'm not really surprised. But just what can I say? I'm just a proud brother, happy for him what he's achieving, and this is not the first time he has done it. Whenever he does it hat-trick.
You heard Rahim Ayu there, and what a season the Ayu brothers have had in it.
Hans Spencer Ando with sports. Now, 5 people have been arrested in connection with the murder of a 90-year-old woman at Kafaba in the Savannah region, and they've been charged with conspiracy to commit crime. As you know, the old woman was lynched after a fetish priestess had claimed she was a witch, and we will be bringing you more details in our subsequent bulletins. Now, she was one of the frontline workers who dealt with Ghana's initial cases of COVID-19, but the numbers would increase and require more than what any health worker was prepared to give. Evelyn Naki Dowuna soon left her home to take up residence at the Ga East Municipal Hospital. This meant leaving behind her own mother and her 9-year-old son. Here's a story about a mother on the front line.
Hello. Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, ma.
A tired mother looks straight at the electronic device before her.
She laughs. The tablet is the safest way to touch base with family but keep her distance as she works to save lives. Evelyn Nakidowuna is Quality and Safety Manager, Infection, Prevention and Control at the Ga East Municipal Hospital. Her job involves ensuring that the facility meets world standards in treating COVID-19 patients. Over 400 patients have been here in the past 5 months with an encouraging rate of recovery. Evelyn is a mother of a 9-year-old who has always been close to his mother.
I've missed you.
Evelyn has been living in a facility provided by the hospital for the past 5 months, sacrificing family time on her patients.
Because I love what I do, I don't just get tired, and my people always feel like, won't you take a rest? I have not gone for 1 week rest before. That is it, since we started in March.
And with rising cases of coronavirus, she barely has time for anything else.
At times I even forget to eat. So one of them who has taken the responsibility, madam, you haven't eaten.
She thanks God for the staff of the Ga East Hospital who look out for each other within the period.
I ask myself, so where do I get this strength from? Sleep like 12 a.m. at time 11 p.m. and all that, making sure everything is said before. Wake up very early and then you come. But I have staff now who have actually accepted, and in fact, they have been wonderful.
But her biggest motivation is little Emmanuel Anan, her son, living with her own mother, whom she checks up on from time to time.
Kudos to Evelyn Nakidowuna, a mother on the front line.
I'm already, you know it. I'm already.
King of Dancehall Shatta Wale has been reigning on Twitter for the most part of yesterday and this morning as fans counted down to his musical video with global superstar Beyonce. Now Beyonce is set to release her Black is King visual album tomorrow, and this film serves as a visual companion to the 2019 album The Lion King, The Gift, which featured African stars including Wizkid on this track called Brown Skin Girl. But of course, what had most Ghanaians talking was the Already soundtrack with Shatta Wale. Listen to him as he explained his contribution to the album.
The way the song was, it was basically about, a Lion King, so I couldn't go away from the message. So I was trying hard to create something around who a king is. The first time I heard the song, even I was like, was that Beyonce? Because it was a Lion King movie. I think she was trying to get the message like direct to Africa. So she was sounding so much like an African girl, So I was like, wow. Then I also need to sound like the way she sounded on the song. So I have to actually go through the lyrics more, study it, and sing the way she was singing.
I'm already, you know it.
And it's been trending, as I said, for the most part of yesterday and today. Nitro at More Simon says, it's coming. Beyonce is coming. Shatta Wale is rising. Hashtag Black is King. Hashtag Already Video. Hashtag Already Streaming Party. And Nana J 05 at Shatta Wale also writes, Shatta Wale, local champion doing the impossible. I'm delighted to see the Ghana flag on such a global platform. Long live the Queen. And Kweku Abeku says, if Beyonce is coming, then Shatta Wale is waiting. If Black is king, then Shatta is king. If everything is settled, hashtag already for tomorrow, then let's have an hashtag already streaming party. And on that note, we wrap up the midday news here. Our top story was the Audit Service Board Chairman. You heard him. He's alleging Auditor General Daniel Domilevo was offered keys to his office, but he refused to take them. Also, running mate to John Dramani Mahama, Nana Opoko Ajiman, has been defending her decision to petition for the release of the Muntie 3. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. I am Araba Koomson. Have a lovely weekend, and I know that the holiday is just around the corner.